Perfect. So next we have Amanda Choi, who is the Sepsis Canada and LifTING Training Program Manager.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Amanda, and I am the program manager for the Sepsis Canada and Life-Threatening Illness National Group, also known as LifTING, research training program. Now, important to note, our program directors are not here, but it is led by Dr. Dominique Paquette, Dr. Patricia Fontella, and Dr. Denise Jaworski. We also recently onboarded a new assistant program manager, Jeremy Shabani, and he's just been joining us for the past month or so. All right, so a little bit of background on what our program is. So essentially, it's an educational and a professional research training program, meaning that we have a cohort of trainees that come from a very diverse background, both professionally and personally, and they are working with our program to ensure that they are able to become researchers extremely efficiently and effectively and also responsibly within the field of sepsis and critical care. Now, importantly, we are made up of two different programs. So we have the Sepsis Canada side as well as the LifTING side. And we've created one unified program because they are both funded by the CIHR, and they have also 4 main common visions. So the first is the idea of breaking silos. Our group of trainees are extremely diverse. They come from, as I mentioned, a very diverse background. And our goal is to be able to share our knowledge and have cross-disciplinary discussions and conversations, and to really share knowledge within the community. The next common vision is personalized training. So while we have a very heterogeneous grouping, we find that it's important for every single trainee to have their needs met professionally in the manner that they choose to interact with our program. So for example, we may have trainees who are patient partners, and then we may have trainees who are research coordinators, and others who are physicians or clinician scientists. Now, their interaction within the program is going to look differently. So their journey, for example, may include some core modules that are mandatory for all of them, but they'll also have specialized modules and specialized workshops that are geared specifically to their stream. All right, next, EDI is a huge focus of our program, both in our actual development as well as our implementation of our program, and as well in our educational curricula. So we teach on anti-oppressive practices and social justice within the frame and the lens of research, and we also work to create a very open and culturally safe learning environment for our trainees. And finally, evidence-based training. And so our curriculum is developed and grounded within recent research, and also the way that we evaluate our program is also grounded in research, which I will be speaking to in future directions. Okay, so what does our program really entail? So it's a 2-year virtual training program. Actually, there are a number of people here who are part of our program, either as trainees, mentors, platform partners, or platform committees. And I like to say that there are 7 main parts of our program. So the first is the online modules. So we have a learning management system in LMS, and we deliver educational online modules through 2 years, so year 1 and year 2. This includes preparatory materials, live sessions where we actually have experts from the field discuss with our trainees the topics. So, for example, we have Allison speaking on the pathophysiology of sepsis. Just a shameless plug, we are looking for someone to actually facilitate and present population health research, and we're also looking for patient partners to speak about patient engagement in research. So if either of those speak to you, please come talk to me after this. And then after the live session, we have consolidation exercises as well, where trainers are able to demonstrate their knowledge and to really have a very profound discussion amongst trainees because of their diverse nature. It really allows for fruitful discussion. The second component of our program is workshops. So we have a number of research, professional, and personal skill workshops that I can speak more to in questions if you have later. Mentorship pods, so trainees are grouped within 5 to 6, and they are assigned 2 mentors within each pod. And essentially the purpose of this is to really provide them with mentors to guide them through the program, and more importantly, hopefully create longitudinal connections even outside of our program once they graduate. And that's to really help them within their professional careers. Next, optional fireside chats, another opportunity just to speak to different research team members. The practicum is one of my favorites. It's an open experiential learning opportunity, meaning that trainees can really make the most of what they want to in this practicum. So for example, some of our trainees are going to be shadowing labs and learning a new wet lab technique. Other trainees, like patient partners, are working on co-designs of studies with pre-existing research studies. And so we do the financial backing of this, and we offer a stipend and reimbursement for expenses. Next slide can speak to this with more detail, but all of our trainees are also eligible for the Sepsis Canada Training Awards, which is $25,000 for each stream within each cohort. And finally, we have our in-person symposium. It's once every year, and this is where we all come together. We have a lot of networking activities. We have a lot of fun, honestly, and it's a great way to continue to share knowledge. Okay, so this is what our year one cohort looks like. So as you can see, it's a very heterogeneous group. So we have research coordinators, patient partners, paramedics, research managers, pharmacists, clinical fellows, et cetera, clinician scientists. We also have, we aim to have a heterogeneous grouping as well in terms of background, both culturally and ethnically. And in terms of what we've garnered in terms of information from our first year, we found that our trainees are extremely motivated to complete these modules and to really engage in the work. And so we have a really high percentage of consolidation exercises completed. We do find that live session attendance has been difficult, and that is understandable given the different time zones. This is across Canada and sometimes even across in Europe, and so that's something that we're working on to offer more flexibility. Our year two cohort, I'm really excited to mention that we are starting off with 35 trainees this year, and they will be beginning in the beginning of October. So again, we have a very heterogeneous group. This year we have a couple of undergraduate students as well, patient support assistants, infection control practitioners, and a number more physicians. All right, so some future directions. I know this PowerPoint looks a little different from the previous ones, simply because it's the start of our program and we haven't actually conducted too much research into our program itself. But this is what we were beginning to do. So we have just started our formal evaluative study of this program with two main aims. So the first being looking into how our program is actually being implemented. Have there been any adjustments from our initial plan and why they have been made? And the second being the value of the platform, of course, for our learners, what they're taking away from it, also what types of outcomes there are for the research community as a whole, for patient partners and families, and of course, the funder, CIHR. So currently underway are semi-structured interviews with our trainees, and so there are 14 interviews that are currently being slotted, and transcriptions of the interviews are ongoing. So Aliyah Kareem is the person who is working on this evaluative study. And finally, program feedback and data collection is ongoing within our program as well. For our trainees here today, you know that we often have end-of-year feedback surveys after every single module, after every workshop, and it's really to allow us to take in the feedback and grow from those inputs. All right, and just notable mentions. So we have our platform committee members and partners here as well. So thank you to all of them for making our program work out.
All right. Are there any questions for Amanda?
And I just want to encourage you, truly, we've got 13 Indigenous members coming into the second cohort of training.
Perfect.
Like, that's what I saw on the graph, that we've got 13. Can you go back to that? Are you able to go backwards?
Yes, let me go back.
And that has been one of our biggest gaps, and congratulate Shannon that she's been passing the word across in the community, because, you know, trying to find Indigenous individuals who are interested in sepsis research has been year two cohort.
Let me find this.
No, that's Asian.
Yeah,
Sorry.
13.
One more Indigenous. My colorblind from the back.
No, it's all good. Yeah, so we do have a high proportionality of East, South, and West Asian, I believe like the Indigenous focus is something that we're definitely working on. We are also onboarding an Indigenous partner who will be helping us with the educational modules and workshops, so that has been a really great step forward. So definitely something that we do need to continue to look into and expand our reach. So again, speaking and communicating this program here today and hoping that that'll be able to spread and open up to more trainees and more diverse cohorts.
I think so. The other thing is that, you know, we're heavy into women.
Yes. Yes, yeah, both years, across both years.
So my encouragement to everybody who's here is that whether we're going to be able to sustain this beyond and go for another cohort, I think is something that I need to work on. But encouraging trainees coming up through the pipeline, this is an opportunity for most of the trainees to get broad training. So thanks, Amanda.
Yeah, thank you. And if anyone's interested in joining next year, again, please feel free to speak with me after this talk, and I'll happy to offer some more information about our program. Thank you.